Well, it's great to have you. And of course, obviously, you're a believer in crypto in a pretty broad way, since you've made a broad kind of portfolio of bets. What's the underpinning of that? Is it that it's a new form of transaction that you think will take off and be around? Is it this notion that fiat currencies will kind of lose their place of dominance? What sort of drives your ethos on crypto?
Well, on Bitcoin specifically, I look and I say Bitcoin represents trust and freedom in a world that is starting to get less of both in the fiat world. And fiat is less trusted because governments are just printing them willy-nilly to just build their own coffers. And this is a great hedge against the inflation you were just talking about that's happening worldwide. And so for investors, I think holding onto Bitcoin is probably a good place to be because there are only 21 million Bitcoin out there, and they represent the freedom that allows us to use them anywhere, and the trust in that it is you're trusting into the software rather than trying to trust into some bank or some government entity.
And we see your Bitcoin tie, so we know, of course, where you stand on that, but you're not wearing an Ethereum tie, right? What about some of the other currencies outside Bitcoin where you're looking at maybe the underlying blockchain technology as a better, open, transparent way?
Sure. Well, some of those also can inflate the way governments can inflate, and so I'm always very careful about that. What I look for is who are the entrepreneurs and who are the engineers behind a given token. I love some of the tokens. I love Tezos because it's got a great engineering team, and they've redefined how to operate a token. They do it as proof of stake. They use less energy, and they have a new form of governance, and that's exciting. Aragon, similarly, is going to redefine how juries work.
Tim, love always chatting with you about Bitcoin, your Bitcoin tie. Talk to us, though, about some of the other underlying blockchain technologies that you've been really interested and investing in as well.
So, as I mentioned, there are a couple of really exciting places where Bitcoin, the blockchain, smart contracts, and all of the technologies around them are going to play a big role in transforming some of the biggest industries in the world. Already we're seeing it in banking. We're going to see it in commerce. We're going to see it in government. We're going to see it in insurance. Speaking of government, it's interesting what's happening in South America. We have a relationship with Cygnus and VCM where we've worked with Draper Cygnus for a long time in Argentina, but clearly a lot of entrepreneurs are moving to Uruguay or to El Salvador because so much great change is happening around South America that we feel like there's a big opportunity there.
But do you feel like the VC crypto world then is in a bubble?
No, not at all. In fact, this is just, it feels like a groundswell. It's slowly but surely just taking over every industry. There will be a moment, I believe, that when I can buy groceries, and which you can in El Salvador now through OpenNode, where you can buy groceries and you can buy your clothes in Bitcoin, all of a sudden there will be no reason to hold fiat currency. Why hold a currency that's subject to the whims of some political force when you can hold a currency where there are only 21 million of them, and it's trusted, and it's global, and it's open, and it's transparent? That is going to be a currency we can all get behind. That's Bitcoin. So I am seeing the beginning. This is just the first inning of one of the biggest groundswells I think we'll ever see in the history of our lives.
What about
NFTs? It's an anthropological leap. I think we're starting to see an anthropological leap. NFTs are great. I think they're building all sorts of creativity. They're starting with the art community. They're making it so that you can own a specific thing in the cloud. You can own a specific thing in the internet. And that can be a piece of art where it's just one of. It can be your identity. I think that's going to be a big breakthrough. I think you're not going to have to use passwords anymore. I think it can be your diploma, your whatever.
Yeah.
It can be specific to you. And so NFTs, this is the beginning, the art and the games and the Bored Apes. But it's eventually, I think we're going to see some tremendous new technologies coming out of NFTs, and I hope to be able to fund them.
Yeah, so what are some of those new investments and fundings that you're involved in? Are they primarily in Latin America, given they, some would say, are ahead of the US when it comes to cryptocurrencies?
It is interesting. I mean, in Latin America, we've got 3 that have hit unicorn status: Satellogic, Auto, and Mural. But we have another company called Unstoppable Domains that allows you, you could get Taylor.crypto, and you can put whatever you want on there, and you can make it your wallet for trading crypto, for holding money, for whatever it is you want. You can actually say things on there. You could be Chinese and say free Tibet. You could say, you could be a Syrian and say, I don't like my leader. Anything, because it's unstoppable. It cannot be stopped. And so I think that that's the beginning of free speech around the world. I think it's the beginning of a new world economy where we're all, our wallets and our identities and all of our assets are all interconnected.
We only
I think
have
this is going to be we're going to go through this, as I mentioned, an anthropological leap as humans, where the geographic borders mean less and less. Our geographic border leaders mean less and less. And the world opens up, and we become one big, great world economy, and that'll be magic.